Hey honey badgers, welcome to an edit vlog, I guess. The mess that has become this bird bath picture. It's not really a mess, I guess that's unfair. There's just a few edits I had to make. So I made a little short talking about the water situation coming out of the tap here. I'll link that down below if you haven't seen that, where I was mentioning, let's see if I have a way to do this. Here, I'll show you. Over in the corner here, since we're going to rip all those out, all those brown ones in there, at least on the edge here, not in the bird, but on the edge around here, all that's got to come out. I started working on this section last night, and that same brown that's over there was in a line coming down on the faucet. And just in standard drills, I realized that was going to look kind of gross, especially with I have the other colors that were going to be in the water area, which, as you can see, I decided not to use, were all these peachy tones that, you know, you'd normally see in like you know, like skin tone usage. I thought that was odd that was the choice they went with for watercolor. So all of these peachy tones up next to that brownish borderline, I was like, that's gonna look odd. I think maybe what, like when they were designing this on the computer, maybe what the computer program thought was it was getting mixed up with the brick wall that's in the back, and so it was making it all one color, because, you know, normally when you see water in real life, it looks translucent, so whatever is, you know, behind it is going to come through. So maybe the program was reading it that way and just made it all the same color, but that's not really going to translate that well in diamond painting. So I had to figure out a way to bring that out. So in that short, I mentioned that I used the sort of light colored tea crystals on the edge here to create the line for where the water stops. And then the part you didn't see, because I hadn't done it then in the short, was I also went back in to create the rest of the water. I used, it's going to be hard to tell, probably see where the color is, because they're pretty close match, but it's a mix of super light blue crystal and standard clear crystal in there. And then up next to that light tea colored crystal area. So I thought that made a more realistic water effect. So I got that part figured out. But then when I went to work on the rest of this, I was looking down here. Let me get this better in frame. I was looking down here at the edge of this, and I was like, I don't know why, but that's bugging me that that's so dark. And I was looking at the color options and everything, and looking at what the original image was supposed to look like, which, let me see. I think I had the printout here somewhere. One moment, where'd it go? It walked off. Oh, okay, here we go. Give you an idea. This is what the original art looks like. And so you can see in the original art, there is a bunch of green around the flowers, a bunch of different colored flowers, looks like marigolds and different colored daisies and stuff. And then you have some more green on that side coming over. And when I started looking at this, and then I noticed back in here, there's like a rose bush coming down on this wall with a bunch of green around it. And that's when it dawned on me, there's no green that came with this kit. It's all brown. That's what all of this is. And I was looking back at the image, so I'll put you back over here, trying to figure out where the edges of everything was. So this is the rose wall here, and then you can see the outline of the brown here. That's where all of that green hanging down is supposed to be. And that's when I started thinking, oh, this is gonna look so bad if I just do it straight the way it's graphed, because it's just gonna be orange and red brick and then a half dead looking rose bush and then just darkness down here with like a few pops of color. Because in the original art you can see that there are stems and everything coming off of these flowers and little leaf areas and all of that, but none of that translates through here. So that's when I made that community post last night and said, yeah, it just dawned on me. And I mentioned in the community post that I said, luckily I wasn't that far into it that I wouldn't have to do everything over. I wasn't going to have to rip out everything, because at least when I did all the brown in the bird and the wall can stay. And so I just have to figure out how to take all of this brown out. I did leave some of the, it's not black, it's 939 dark blue. I did leave some of that in the background areas here, because this is all the dark shading on the bowl here. So it makes sense to have it there. And then this is the inside of the bowl, so it makes sense there. And then I figured I can still leave it on the faucet area there as shading, because the faucet, you know, it's metal, and it's okay if it's going to look like it has a little bit of rust on it, because most garden taps do. So I'm not going to worry about editing all of that out. It's just where the flower bunches are that I'm like, oh, okay, that's all gonna come out and make more sense, because why would you not have green in a garden painting? Unless it's like a winter painting and it's obvious in the picture that it's a winter or autumnal scene and everything is supposed to be brown. But if you got all these blooms everywhere, clearly that needs some green around it. So yeah, I need to liven up this garden picture and make it come to life a little bit better. So that's what this vlog is. I was experimenting with where to take out colors last night and what to do in its place. So that's when I decided I'm going to leave some of this in here. I'm going to leave some of the dark blue on the edges to make some extra dimension where, you know, it might help a little bit, but it's not like a wash of it. And then where there was dark blue, I'm going to go in and, where did I put the container? I'm going to start with a dark 500 green for the 939 parts that I pulled out. And then all the in symbols down here, if I can get it on camera. Is that showing up? There we go. All those ends are 3790, which was all the brown. So I'm going to take those out where I want leaves to be instead. And where the 500 stops and the brown was, I'm going to go in with 890 green, which is still a dark green, but just a tad bit lighter than the 500. So I'm going to do that down here. But I think what I'm going to do for up here in the border wall, the, you know, where the rose wall is, where the rose bush is hanging down, I think I'm going to go up there and do a little bit lighter green from my spares, because I was looking at this. Whoops. Because I was looking at this and I don't know, I'll have to play around with it. I might work a little bit brighter green in the tops of the flowers here. See how that works out. Might do like a gradient type thing. But I was looking up here and this is way lighter colored than down here. So that's why I was thinking I definitely want a lighter green up here, especially up against this pink, to pop that out and really set it off against the orangish red color that's going in a lot of the brick area and in some of the bird as well, to set all that off, make it pop it out better. So that's what I'm doing as far as edits on this. I'm not going to make you sit here and hang out while I pop off all these drills, because that's going to be kind of dull. So I'm going to show a little bit of progress here and there, see how it goes, play around with things, bring you back when I have something that looks a little bit more interesting, talk about it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these clips together, but I'm going to hold off releasing this as a whole video until I have this completed, just in case there are any more edits that I come across. I'd rather just have it all in this one video instead of just uploading this as a in the moment project and then something else comes up later. So yeah, this will be a in the works vlog, and you'll see it all come together at some point down the road, and we'll see how this comes to life. But I figured I would talk you through the process of what I do here. when I have to do these edits, so that if you come across things like this and you don't mind doing a little editing, this can give you some ideas of what you can swap out and how you can fix stuff. And just, yeah, you can hear my mental dialogue, and maybe it'll, you know, help something in your process. Or you can just hang out and watch because you just love this kind of process so much that you're just into it. Or you just want to hang out with me, which I also appreciate. Whatever, I'm here regardless. So yeah, I'm gonna work on figuring out the leaf things down here, and bring you back when I got a little bit more progress to talk about. All right. So some time has progressed. It's actually the next day. I was working on stuff last night, and, you know, got into feeding the dogs and myself, and then Nook had a little hiccup fit after dinner, so I had to help him through that. And then it just, you know, hours get away from you, and I actually didn't come back to this too much till pretty later, and by then I figured, once I had made some progress on all the pulling out of the brown, I figured I would wait until daylight again to show you the progress. But now the sun is getting ready to go down on day 2 of this, so I figured I should go ahead and give you an update on this before the sun goes down again. So yeah, quick update on all the ripping out of the brown. It was time consuming, it was a little tedious, but it was so worth it. You might not be able to see it right off. I'll show you down here first, but it did help bring out the leaves a little bit better. Over here, obviously not done filling in the background and stuff, so this will eventually come out more and more, but just adding a little bit of green in there caused so much better definition than just the wash of blue that was there. So yeah, pulled all that out. There was a little bit more over here that I pulled out and put dark greens back in. What I ended up doing was, at the very bottom down here, I did the super dark green 500, and then as I went up, I went into a slightly lighter but still pretty dark green 890. These are the DMC codes for the colors. And then once I got up to about here, I had told you that I wanted, because of the border up here, I wanted to go a little bit lighter. So I was looking up a different green, and eventually settled on a 905 green, which is this sort of summery green here. And then once I started getting into the 905 green, there were some sections that I felt needed even a little bit lighter, like on the tips of the leaves. So you'll see, let's see if I can get a better look there. You'll see there's like that one singular dot. That was a brown dot that I ripped out, but those little dotted areas, I was like, that needs something else to make it stand out even more. So then I went one step further and pulled out a 904 green, so that that would blend in nice with the 905 and look pretty natural. So that's what I did, going up, starting way dark at the bottom and then going up as you go up the wall, getting lighter and lighter. And now that I've done that, you can see way better where the flower bundles are. All of that green, that was all brown when I talked to you yesterday. So yeah, that's what I worked on last night, and it's just little bits, but it took a while to get all the brown off. Once I had the brown off, I went back in with a multi-placer, and putting the green down went very quick. But yeah, had to be a little bit patient with that. But it was just those green areas. The brown in the brick wall and the bird I left in, didn't mess with that. So yeah, it's coming together. Today I worked on putting, just a little while ago, I finished up putting the I think I already bagged it back up, but it was the 919 sort of reddish brown, orangish brown color that I was doing when I figured out I needed to put the green back in. Finished up with that, and now I've started in on color 8, which is 921, which is still kind of in the brown family, but it's got a little bit of an orange tint to it. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I think once I did the, looking down, I just noticed there was a section of green I forgot to put back in, down here. So yeah, I gotta put dark green back in there, but that'll take like a second. That won't be a big deal. I think, what is K? K is 3771, so that's that sort of peachy tone color. I think this is the last big bulk color I have to put in. Everything else looks like it's going to be, well, that and D, which is 948, which I think is also another sort of peachy pink tone to make the lighter areas of the brick wall over here. Because this is also more brick wall, I think, but like, I think it's a little bit, I was going to say, I think there's like a bend in the brick wall, but maybe not. I think this is just overhang plant, but this is all one wall. Looking at the original art, I think. Where's that picture? Let me see. Look at the picture again. Yeah, see, the way the shading was over here, I thought maybe that was a bend in the wall. It might be. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But I think it's supposed to be one straight wall. So yeah, that part in there is just the continuation of the wall. So yeah, doing the peachy pink tones. The darker browns were meant to create that, you know, the edge of the border so you see the lines better, the grouting. But yeah, everything else will be that sort of peachy pink tone, I think. And then there'll be a little bit on the top of the bird here where the sunlight's hitting. As it stands right now, I'm not anticipating any more big edits that I'll have to do this one. It's hard to say, but I think I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I planned to leave the editing process of this vlog kind of open until I got to the completion part, so that if I have to come back on and mention anything else I had to do as an edit, I can just keep going with this vlog and, you know, not have to do another one later. So yeah, gonna keep working on this. So hopefully, if there's no other big changes I have to make, the next part you shall see in this, I think, should be the completion of all of this. So stay tuned. All right, clearly not done, but I have another edit for the green family in this. So this is the green put back in. Add a little more daylight. This is day 3 now that I'm working on this, little by little. So all the green is in over here, at least what I put in yesterday. So you can see it better in the nice daylight, how that's coming along. You can see the flowers coming in. I put some more of the pinks and burgundies and stuff in there for the shadowing, so you can see the wall just starting to come together back there in the shadow area. And then down here, these flowers are starting to pop out more, which is nice. Put some of the pinks and burgundies in here too, so the shadowing is coming through here. I'm so glad I went back in and put that green in, because it created so much more dimension. So I went to start on the next one, which the next color I was knocking out are all these little Q's dotted everywhere, and I went to look what that is, and it's another brown. But the large patch of that is all going in this vine. It's a little bit scattered in the wall here, little dots of it, but the bulk of it is all going in this vine area back here and spreading out. You can kind of see the outline of the leaves. I think they're supposed to be part of the leaves still branching out there, but that's going to be brown again, and I just did all this work putting the green back in. So yeah, that's, I realized I'm gonna have to pick out another green to fix that, since I fixed that part. So instead of using the 3828 that was graphed for this, I think what I'm gonna do is go in with this 3013, because I was looking at this thinking, what could I do that's still sort of in the, I don't know, brownish family, but maybe still have a little bit of a green tint to it, because I knew that some of it was going to be over here. So I was like, what's going to work that's not going to stick out too badly on a brick wall and make sense where there's not greenery directly on it, because some of it is like behind the faucet and things like that. So I figured this one was a good one, because I tested it over here. I didn't put any down yet, but just kind of held it up to the other colors that are over here. And I think that'll match okay with the brick color, because remember, we're going to have those like peachy pink tones going in there too. So I'm going to try that and see how that works out instead of this darker brown. I don't think it's going to mess it up too much as far as the brick over here, and I think it'll be nice over here on the vine so that we can still see the flower coming out over there. So I'm going to test this and bring you back and see what we think. Okay, little update on where we're at now. I think the last time I talked to you guys, I was talking about putting this sort of light green color in instead of the brown. So that's all in now. You can see it in the edging of the vine there. And it comes down here too. See, I think there was a little bit that went up in the bird feathers maybe. There's a little bit down here. Oops, come on. Getting caught on something. Okay, there's a little bit down here underneath the bird I put in. I don't know if there's anywhere else. There's a few spots up on the wall it went in. But overall, I think that was a good call to use that shade. It seems to blend in really nice with everything. Makes a nice soft shaded look. So I got all that in. And then the next step, I put in a few other colors. I think I worked in a few of the blues and grays. I filled in the blue flowers down here. And then there's a little bit of blue-gray over here. I just finished doing part of the rim of the bowl here. Filled in the faucet area. I think most of the faucet area is done. One other addition I made is I put in a few gunmetal gray metallics on the tap there just to give it a little extra water shimmer, and then a few on the handle there, I think. I added one blue AB on the beak there because it was supposed to be this 995 blue, but for some reason when I put it on the beak there, it looked bright and awkward, and when I put the AB there, it was a little bit softer. It blended in a little bit nicer, and I thought it gave the look of having a little water droplet on his nose, so left that in there to give it an overall softer look to the eye. I think that's all I've done so far. I think that's pretty much up to date. There is one other place where I'm thinking I might need to do an edit. I was looking over here, and this isn't, you can probably see it in the camera well enough. There's an edge of a flower here, and I think there's a couple more over here, but you see where all the G's and K's are? It's the same color that's going into the brick wall behind it. So I'm a little bit worried that area is going to get a little too matchy-matchy. So I have to go back and look at what the particular shades are for those. I know it's that, like I said, that peachy pink color. Figure out some pretty close matches to those, but I think that's another area where I'll make just a tiny edit where it's just a slight either darker or lighter shade on the petals here, just so there's a little bit extra definition to where this one brick is, where the flowers are up against it. There might also be that issue over here I was noticing on the flowers that are coming over the edge here onto this part of the wall. Same thing, there's some G's and K's over there, but then there's also K's in the wall. So yeah, whatever I figure out down here, I'll probably extend to the flowers up there. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue on these flowers down here because there's no brick wall, so I don't think it's gonna run into too much of a blending issue there, but that's one more edit that I'm gonna have to think about when I come back. It's about 6 p.m. when I'm filming this clip now, and it's getting pretty close to sundown. It's like that dusk time, and that's Nook's favorite time to go for a walk. So yeah, he's having a wander in the backyard right now while I film this. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go take him for his little dusk time wander, and then come back and figure that part out. Maybe fix something to eat, I don't know. It's been kind of a slow day today, you know, one of those easy breezy days where I'm just being sort of chill and slow, but gradually making progress. We're coming up on the finish line here. Once I put the pinks in the flowers, I don't think there's too much left. Filling in the tap a little bit. I think the flowers are pretty much done except for those couple of pinks I gotta fill in real quick. Yeah, filling in the top a little bit, and then basically it's just the lighter colors that are going on the brick and the bird. And that's another area where I'm seeing, I don't know if it'll be an issue. It might not. I was looking at where there's some K's on the bird. Let's see if I can get it a little bit easier. On the top of the bird, there's some K symbols, but they're also on the wall. So I'll have to look at that area a little bit closer and see if it's going to run into an issue again with the too much blending. May have to do a color edit there, maybe not. But yeah, good thing I made a vlog on this, because it's not a terrible canvas to work with as far as printing or anything. I think it's just, you know, sometimes you come across canvases like this where you have to do a little bit of tweaking just to get the definition a little bit better and get the shading in the right areas, because I've mentioned it in other videos where when they run it through the computer program, I think the computer programs they use can sometimes just do an overall blend that can go a little too far. So that's why, you know, when you want the best effect for these, it's nice to have a little bit of a sort of artistic temperament, an artistic brain where you can go in and figure out where to make edits to, you know, make it the nicest outcome possible. I think with printings, with kits, I think it's a nice base. And a lot of people just do canvases straight and just take it as whatever, and they just do it for the activity. For me, I like to have the very best image I can. So for me, when I get into canvases, I look at it as it's a nice base, but there's always opportunity to learn about color balancing and trying things out and experimenting and making edits and trying to get the best definition out of a printing as possible. So yeah, that's where we're at so far. We're really close to finishing this one, and that's the update. So yeah, I'll think about the pinks and the bird up here, the little tufts of the top feathers where the sun is hitting them. Think about those parts. Once that's figured out, that should be it for the for the edits. I don't think I have to edit anything on the brick wall. That looks like it's coming together pretty well. So yeah, I'll bring you back when I have something new to say. Update time. All right, what were we talking about when I left you last? I think we were talking about fixing the pink or editing the pink colors. So the flowers are all done. This was, I'll show you up close here. This was a random, I don't know what the DMC code was. It was a random sort of mid pink, almost hot pink color shade I found in my spare drills, and I was like, yeah, that'll work. So yeah, you can see the line better. Originally this was all graphed as the same color from this to the brick area here. It was all supposed to be the same according to how it was plotted, but yeah, just to make that line a little bit better, I put that color in so you see a little bit of a shadow there on the petals. Did that for all the pink down here, and also up here in this bush, top of the rose bush. So yeah, I think all the flowers are done now. Pretty much everything is done except for I have 2 colors left, and it's pretty much just background work now. There's a little bit left to do in the shading of the bird here, mostly this back wall here, and then a little bit on here, and then a little bit of shading with the 2 colors down here on the last little bit of the sink down there, and then that's it, and then this one will be done. Yeah, so a few hours have passed since I talked to you guys last and did some stuff, then came back to this and just started plugging away all the different colors while I was watching shows and stuff, and yeah, got down to almost done. So what I think I'm going to do is just finish this up since I'm this close to it. Just go ahead and finish this up tonight. I'm gonna seal it, let it cure overnight, and then I'll probably do the completion reel tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be sunny. I don't think another storm is planned for tomorrow, but who knows? The way the weather's been going, who knows? But if the weather holds, I'll do a completion reel, or I'll figure out some way to film it inside. And then I guess I'll also work on editing this vlog so you can see it, because that would be a nice follow-up to actually filming it, is making it viewable to you guys. So yeah, that'll be with the game plan for tomorrow. So completion reel tomorrow, and then working on editing this vlog for whenever you're gonna see it. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow as well, I'm not sure, but it'll be shortly thereafter, within the next day or two, I'm sure. So yeah, that's the progress. I'm pretty happy with how this one came out overall. Since there's only 2 colors left, not anticipating any more edits, I'm just filling in now. So yeah, he came out a little cutie. I wasn't sure about how the feathers were gonna come out, but yeah, I'm thinking you can see the definition pretty well. So yeah, stay tuned tomorrow for the completion reel. I'm at a little bit of an odd angle with the way my work light is. I recently got a different light from the one I used to use, but the problem with my work light is that it's not really well designed for filming as far as like really high up. So I'm still trying to figure out how to get the angle right with this. I had to get like a special holder, and it's still, I can't do too much as far as the angle. So that's why I'm having to like do little close-ups like this until I can figure out how to get a more elevated look with the design of this work lamp, because I like the work lamp, but yeah, as far as filming it for doing YouTube and stuff, it's not ideal from the middle of the lamp. But eventually I want to do a video with all these little, talking about all these little upgrades I've been doing behind the scenes as far as filming and stuff, but that's coming on down the road. Anyway, that's where we're at with this. It's going to be almost done. So yeah, like I said, stay tuned for tomorrow when I'll have the completion reel up, and let me know what you think.